there is no death, it's just a change and ascension. The planet is going through changes, and we go on with it. It's our mother and it's our Gaia. So just take the ride and enjoy it, and just take it easy. We are part of it.
Tommy, let's go. I've got a few more here.
So I just have a quick question about the differences between the 5,125-year cycle and the roughly 26,000-year cycle, and what's the main differences between those that the Maya talked about, and if, Richard, you found anything relating to torsion fields with those time cycles?
Rather than answer you myself, I'd like to call on a friend of mine, a genuine mind. I mean, what I've been struck by is we got a whole bunch of white guys up here talking about something that's not even our heritage, that isn't ours to talk about. Mazatzin, would you please stand up and show your stunning work? He has put, I met this guy a couple of years ago. He had a primitive version of the calendar that I told him to please put some math to, and when I saw him a couple of nights ago, I was astonished by what he has created that is useful to everybody in the next couple of months leading up to
Mazatzin is our speaker in November 17, 18. Please join us, alchemyevent.com, ALCHEMYEVENT.com, okay. November 17, 18 in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Okay, hello, everybody. Thank you very much.
Can we get him a mic? Tom?
Why don't you go right in the middle here?
Thank you. Help me open that up? Can you hear me okay? First of all, I want to say, Tlazokamati Uimiak. Tequitlani Miak Chikawalisi Uikoliotli. Tlazokamati Ikno. English, Spanish, these are all European languages, and they're not original and traditional to this continent where you're standing at today. And so I'm speaking in this language called Nahuatl, and Nahuatl Latoli, actually. It means harmonious speaking. And I really appreciate the opportunity. I won't take too much time, hopefully, and just to share with you a little bit.
Walk up a little more. Stay away from
No, stay from you guys? Okay. Okay. I'm presenting this right here today. We call this the ancient Mexica chronological system, a human experience towards personal transcendence with global consequences. In other words, it's not a Mexican thing, it's not an Aztec thing, it's not an Indian thing, it's a human thing. Our grandfathers never ever said Pancho Villa or Moctezuma or Mazatzin does this and that. They said a human being in his mother's womb will travel for 260 days, while the earth travels around the sun for 365 and a quarter days. Together they create a cycle that is so incredible that allows a human being to be part of the earth. I've heard too many things coming up here, and I really appreciate it. I wish I could take a picture of each one of you guys and put them in my head, because each one of you caught some of it, you know, talking about it's up to us what we do. That's important, that's right, it's up to us. But how do we know what to do? If we're talking about Mayan calendars and we're talking about Aztec calendar, for example, one first thing, that calendar in the middle, that's called the Aztec calendar. But it's always used to show the Mayan calendar, right? They say the world's going to end, look, it's going to end, right? But first of all, Maya, Olmec, Toltec, Zapotec, Mixtec, Aztec, they're not really nationalities. They're not peoples who live here or there. They're a frame of mind. They're a frame of life. Olmec comes from Olin, movement, and Mecate, rope. The ones who began time, the movement of time. And I believe that's going on all over the world, Olmec. Toltec means the ones who took that measurements and began to build, and they became precise. Not perfect, but precise. And their mission was to never settle for second best. That's Toltec. You know, Maya, the word Maya actually has a meaning. It's a net. It means a net. And what does a net do? A net sets perimeters. Our grandfathers Maya, their mission, go to the beginning of this time and to where do we go and where do we end? This cycle. And so that's why there are many scientists were amazed that our grandfathers Maya were able to measure the cycles of time of this precession of the universe. And more amazed that they measure when it began last time and when it starts again. So 2012, December 21st, it's not really about the calendars or the Mayan calendars or cultures. It's about, like they said already here, it's about the earth going through a particular space of time that it has not been at for a long time. Now, all of you know that we're totally falling apart as human beings. We don't see each other as human beings. We don't treat each other as human beings. So we're falling apart. So we need something. Now, I'm just going to make it quick like this. We got to walk through a door on December 21st. There's a light coming through, and it's there, because we're going to be in the light. I call it like when there's a beam of light, and you break it to somebody's home. Not that I've done it, but I heard it. There's a beam of light, and it'll catch you. Well, that beam of light can catch us like thieves also, if we're not prepared to go into that door. And by the way, that doorway we see is not a big giant doorway. We can't all go in there standing shoulder to shoulder. It's only big enough for one person. Yeah, the future is only big enough for one person with one mind and one heart. So that means that we all have to become that one person. And you guys have all been saying that as well. We have to bring it together. Our grandfathers, they did this work for the purpose of trying to help human beings learn to live in harmony with everything that surrounded them, respecting everything. Quetzalcoatl, Quetzal precious, Coatl the serpent, it means twin, precious twin. So Quetzalcoatl really means my precious twin. That's why it's the morning star and it's the evening star. The return of Quetzalcoatl on June the 5th that we just saw, I was privileged to be in Mount Shasta. We saw the actual transit of Venus when it was almost leaving the sun. And then behind us on Mount Shasta, we saw an amazing image of a serpent right on top of the Shasta. We got it up there, it's for real. And the return of Quetzalcoatl.
1 minute, Bob.
So thank you. Thank you much. I got 1 minute, thank you. And so the thing of the return of Quetzalcoatl is the return of the knowledge that you are my precious twin. Okay? So instead of prophecy, instead of predictions, let's talk promise, okay? Our grandfather promised us that one day the sun would shine on us again. So December 21st, when the sun comes up, wherever you're at, be right there to watch him raise. When he comes up, he wants to see you, and you want to see him. And you want to say, hello, Pop, here I am. Because if you believe what somebody said over here before, the sun is our father, and the earth is our mother, then we're all brothers and sisters. Today, we're on this day right here, called the monkey, okay? The monkey, 7 monkey, the day today. It's a real calendar. We need to come back. So what do we do for 2012? We start learning to walk the calendar system. Simple as that. It's not over.
They are giving us a sign. We've got 5 minutes. I don't have time for questions. We've got 5 minutes to go. Take 1 minute apiece. Brooks, wrap it up.
My 1 minute to affect the universe is to remind each one of you that although you are individuals, you are part of the very lucky, I think, humanity to be alive on the earth at this time. The earth is going through this change. You get to go through it with her alive. You planned it. You hoped to be here. So set your sights on correct dreaming. That's what I would say. Dream large and don't hold back.
Mike Barra.
Keep in mind the key thing is that the apocalypse is not something that happens to you. It is something that you actively participate in choosing the outcome of. And that is the position that each of you is in today. Not only that, you guys, because you're even here listening to this stuff and reading about it and thinking about it and watching stuff on TV, are the ones who are going to be the leaders for those who are going to be getting very confused and very uncomfortable when everything starts to shift beneath their feet, which it already has. So what you need to do, the one thing that you can contribute, the contract, the agreement you can make, is go home in your quiet time, call it meditation, prayer, whatever it is, when you listen to music, clear your mind and think about what it is you want. What kind of a world do you want to live in? What world do you want for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your city, for your country, and for your planet? And that will help determine the outcome of what we're going to go through this next transitional period.
Bravo. David Farman.
Remember, you're all cosmic beings. Remember that. So that with that given, we're going to activate cosmic activation. I'll be doing the Ascension activation on November 18, Sunday, 9 a.m. in West Los Angeles. If you cannot be there, stream it online on our website, alchemyevent.com. Just again, remember you're cosmic beings, and you remember you're going to ascend. It's 25,000 years cycle. This is ascension, and there should be no fear. Thank you so much.
John Hoagland.
I loved what our guest here said. A number of things. This is also what I have heard from many people from Mesoamerica about how to look at this, that the door lets only one individual at a time through it. There's been talk in spiritual circles that the only thing that can collectively evolve is instinct. And that's how most organic life evolved for all these millions and millions of years until hominids began to have sentience. And when sentience, the seed of sentience, began to plant itself in the womb of instinct, then a shift already happened that this thing we're talking about is another step along the way towards. The shift happened that the collective instinct, that's how we collectively change and grow. But we move into consciousness, only one person through the door at the time. But the time is timeless. It is the eternity of the present. It doesn't require you to wait for the Mayan calendar date or any date from any time, because you are not in consciousness something of time. You are in this eternity of the present, and all you need to do is become aware of it now, this moment, this 1,000 times this moment. Thank you.
Richard C. Hoagland.
I think I've discovered my slight disagreement with John. It's been amazing how we're on the same page in most of this stuff. But I do think this is a special time because the physics is modulated by the movement of the celestial, heavenly objects coursing around the sun, around the galaxy, and around all those other galaxies. And that creates these, what I call hyperdimensional windows. My computer, which I've been measuring day after day after day, the physics at the base of the Sandia Mountains, has been going nuts. When we crossed the galactic plane again in terms of alignment in the summer, I was on coast and I told you it has absolutely gone nuts. And it's been doing this in contradiction to previous readings going back years. I've been doing this now for almost 10 years. I've got a huge database. There is a quantitative, measurable scientific change in the force. So let me leave you with this thought. If you watch 2010, Dave Bowman appeared to the, quote, head of NASA at that time, and he said, you have 3 days to leave, because there was a window, and the window was going to close. And then he said, something wonderful is coming. I believe the message that we're trying to impugn to everyone on this panel this morning is something wonderful is coming. Be in tune.
Let's hear it for the panel. And thank you for being here. We'll see you in February at Conscious Life.